guys, I'm going to quickly show you how I use Dedoose. So I log in. Obviously the first time you load this up, everything's going to be empty, so I just went to import data and then imported text and imported the 3 transcripts, but they're obviously already in. So yeah, these are the 3 transcripts in the media widget, which you can also find by clicking on the media tab at the top. It's bugging out. I don't know why it's not showing. Oh, is it because I've got those closed? There you go. Okay. Okay, so we've got the 3 transcripts. I'm just going to open one of them. So you can single click to open up a transcript. Okay, so in order to create codes, you just highlight a bit of text and you right click on it, and then you get 2 options. You get the chance to add a code, or you can add a memo, and I have done a bit of that. I can show you that as well in a bit. So add a code. Either you can search for something. You can either scroll through and to find something you've entered before, or you can start typing. So let's say I want to put intrinsic motivation. I've got some options here. I can just double click on one to put it in there. Or if I want to create a new one, I'm just going to put giving thanks. Nothing comes up, but I could just press enter and it will create a new code called giving thanks. I can also add extra ones as well. So Dom speaks, and press enter and add a second one. So yeah, so what it shows them up here. Essentially, this is the excerpt, and these are the 2 codes that have been applied to that excerpt. So you can also hover over this little thing on the side, and it tells you what codes you've applied. If you click that, it opens it up on the side here. So I can go down to like some paragraphs. I've just got loads of things going on. So like, okay, so this whole section I put in, identified regulation, interjected regulation, and then there's little bits within here. Yeah, loads of little codes and bits and bobs. I'm not going to use all of this. Every pass that I do, I just add more stuff, and the more I read other papers, I get other ideas for codes and things. So yeah, so it just highlights everything for you, and that's it. I'll show you the memos as well. So if you right click and click add memo, so I might write. So the excerpt is how you feeling today. I might just put, I don't know, interviewer is interested in how the participant is feeling. I might link it to an existing memo, so I've got some already. But if you click in here, you can see the other ones you've got, and you can hover over and see, what you've written. So I've written a few things in here for Linda. So I can just link it with, click and it links it. And then if I go back to the create new, it brings me back to here, but it keeps it linked. So you can add more, you can link it to as many as you like. When you're done, go back to the create button up here and just click save. And it will create the memo for you. And they're just quite useful notes. I've done that just where I've wanted to make a note to myself on something. You can delete if you've made a mistake, or if you've highlighted something and you've gone to add a code, but then you don't actually add it. It still keeps the excerpt, which you don't really want. So I can see the blank one. I've got 2 blank ones here because one actually has the memo. I wonder which one it is that's got the memo. I'm guessing it's the one with the later numbers. That's a bit of a bug, isn't it? They don't tell you that it's got a memo attached to it. But anyway, this middle one I'm going to get rid of, so you can just click on this to delete it. Boop, and it disappears. This one, I wonder if I can see the memo. Yeah, look, linked memos to, it shows me that. Although it always has that icon there, it just linked memo 0. It's not great. It's not a great UI, this thing, but it's usable. Yeah, you get some extra settings here, so you can turn on and offline numbers. You can show or not show. Oh, that's interesting. It shows the memo on the side here. That's quite cool, isn't it? I didn't actually realise that. Yeah. And that's it. And you can go through to the next transcript by just pressing the right arrow, or I just get back to the media and do that, because I tend to, what I do is once I've added codes, what I tend to do is actually then go into the codes tab, and you can see all your codes here, and I organize them. So let's say here I've got DOM speak, the two we just added. I've got DOM speaks and what was it? Giving thanks, wasn't it? Giving thanks. Let's say I want to put them under another heading. Like let's say I want something that's like interviewer, interviewer chat. So I can add another code here, clicking the plus, and I'll just call it like interviewer speaks, and I'll submit. Okay, I now have one here called interviewer speaks. So if I want to put DOM speaks and giving thanks into that, I would click on this. Oh, sorry, let me show that again. I'd click on the little settings cog and click reparent, and it will parent it. I select interviewer speaks. This is a bit clunky as well, but like you click on interviewer speaks, submit, code linked, okay, and then press submit. You can rename and do all these other things in here as well. So now under interviewer speaks, I get DOM speaks is now there. So let me just put giving thanks in there as well. And then I'll show you one other thing we can do. So something I did yesterday, which I found really useful after I had, I don't know, just done like 3 or 4 passes of adding codes, I realized I wanted to merge some of my codes. Like I wanted to write something that was a bit broader than a code I'd already had. I think it was that I was looking at like communal, where is it? I think it was this relatedness, personal connection, this one. I had one that I'd created called like exercising with friends, and one that was exercising with family, and I just created them on separate occasions, and I wanted to merge them and then merge them into this so that they all fell into this relatedness, personal connection thing. So the way you do that, I'll do it with these two just to show the example. If you click on the settings cog again and you can click merge, you get this window. So you get to select your primary and secondary code, and it says upon clicking submit, the secondary code will be merged into the primary code, leaving only the primary code. So the name of the primary code will remain, and anything that was in your secondary code, the actual codes, the actual like excerpts, will be moved into the primary code. So if I now put this as, if I make the primary code DOM speaks and the secondary is giving thanks, it will get rid of giving thanks and it will move the excerpts that were within that into DOM speaks. It checks you want to do that. Click yes, and now if I look at DOM speaks, if I double click on it, does that work? No. If I click this for the excerpts, I can see that I've got the thank you is now, I don't know why that one's empty. The thank you is there, the one that was in the thanks, in the giving thanks thing. So yeah, so I use that. I can see how many codes I've got here. I don't really use that, to be honest, but this is useful, and it's useful to see. This is great, like to be able to actually go in and see the excerpt. So if I go into, I don't know where to start. Let's have a look at like identified regulation or something. So yeah, it just shows me all of the excerpts across all of the participants. I'm sure there's other things you can do here. View excerpts full, export them, so you can just put them into your Word document or something, I imagine. Yeah, look, you can export it as Excel or Word or text document, which is pretty cool, and then you can play with it in your document. That's all of them in one go. So yeah, it's just really useful for organising stuff. You can go into excerpts here. How do you pronounce excerpts? And you can just see them all. Well, these are the codes here. I don't think. Anyway, I won't go through that. That's a bit dull. There's the memos section. So yeah, I've got the memos in here that I've written. I can see what they're linked to as well. Yeah, you can play around with that. And then inside Analyze, I haven't really used this too much because I don't think we're supposed to do much with this, but it's quite cool. Like inside the code charts, there is, which one is it? It's one of these, code application. So this is quite cool. You can see all of your codes and you can see the number of instances within each transcript and then the totals. So this might be quite useful for just seeing which are the most like prominent and dominant codes that are coming up a lot. So like this relatedness personal one, I can see is like, oh yeah, you can click on this number and it will show you. So I'm clicking on all of them, so it'll show me all of them. But if I just want the individual person for relatedness, I can click on just theirs and it just shows me faiths. So yeah, and so it's quite useful just for seeing what are the really popular codes. Although some are minor subheadings, and I might not have tagged the overarching one. So, but yeah, quite useful for the at least the subheadings. And there's all these there's other things in here. My 3D code cloud. I mean, shall I put that in? Maybe we'll put that in the final submission. Yeah, I mean you can play around, but yeah, it's I don't think we need to do any of this sort of stuff. So it's more just if it's useful for you to see all the codes written out. So it was that. This one's, what's this one? Code occurrence, the co-occurrence of codes. I'm not too sure. Oh, maybe that's when yeah. So when you do more than one over the same excerpt. Yeah, and that is it. The homepage just has some bits. That is it. I guess you want to export codes. There's an export data button here. You can click export codes, and we can export those. We can also, what else can we export? We can export the excerpts, which includes what codes have been applied to it. So that's quite cool. And your memos and stuff. Oh, another thing you can do is you can set weightings to your codes. I don't know why that's all just gone grey. Yeah, if you edit this, you can enable code weighting, and you can weight stuff. I guess that's probably more for the statistics. And yeah, that is there's some settings here for sorting things alphabetically and that kind of stuff. Cool, that's it. Enjoy.